What's going on, everyone? This is Matt, Squeaky Clean Air. Today what we're going to do is we're doing something cool. I'm changing the exhaust tips on the Mark 7.5 GTI. So more VW content. It's winter outside, so we're finding things to do, and this is a pretty cool mod. I'm going to show you guys in just a second how I'm going to go about doing it. Alright, so I decided to go with a nice burn tip. This is one sort of that I did right now. These weren't too bad. I got a set of these at Pacific Mall, actually. For those familiar in the GTA Toronto area, pretty much know what Pacific Mall is. You can get some pretty cool stuff. Not all out of it is highest quality, but I lucked out with these actual tip, and I love the way they look. It's a burnt tip. It looks a lot nicer, I guess, compared to the OEM ones. So essentially what I did is I so far cut off the OEM tips. So this is what we're left with. We're left with the pipe over here. And the way these go on is they're screwed on. Yeah. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, these are fake tips because they're not welded, blah, 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 blah. Let me put it this way. I paid $50 for this tip. Okay? And two for $100. And these look a hell of a lot nicer than the OEM ones. They're slightly a bit bigger. I believe this one is, let me turn on the light. No, that's not a good idea. Maybe. I believe this one is 4 inches compared to the OEM, which is, I think, approximately close to 4 inches. But I really, really love the burn tip. So there's no denial. These look a lot nicer than the OEM ones, and I think it's a cool mod. Now, here's where it gets a little bit exciting, okay? And let me show you guys how they look like. So you have two options of doing these tips. You could screw them on, and basically they screw on and sort of latch on to your factory pipe. The factory pipe for the Mark 7.5 GTI is 2.5 inches. Or what you can do is you can get a 3-inch, which is what this is. This is a 3-inch sort of diameter. 3-inch to a 2.5-inch reducer. And you can weld it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these. But then I'm going to put a couple tacks. Let me go back here. Over here. To tack it to the factory pipe. And the reason why I'm going to do this is these screwed on tips have a notorious sort of like, it's well known that a lot of the times when you screw them on, because of the latches and because of the pressure that this exhaust is on, a lot of the times these get lost on the highways. So I'm taking a little bit of an easy way out just because I don't want to weld all around it. But I'm using these, and I sort of attach them using the threads. But I'm going to put a tack here, and a tack here, so I don't lose these. So it's kind of known that if you do buy these, or you guys end up buying these on Amazon, and these are available on Amazon as well. If you buy the screwed-on ones, either you can do a 3-inch a coupler that goes through here and then reduce this to 2.5, and then do a nice little beetle around here, and then do a nice little beetle around here. But I'm being a little bit lazy, and I'm kind of sort of just, going to have it done like this, because I really, at this point, I really don't care, because the exhaust is going to flow out anyways. You know what I mean? So majority of the pipe is over here, so majority of it is going to flow out anyways. But because I monitor these on a regular basis, if they start to rot or rust, I'm just going to cut them off and rebead them, or do a 3-inch to a 2.5-inch sort of reducer, weld them here, or use a muffler clamp and call it a day. But at the end of the day, what's the kicker here is if you're just going to buy these tips and you're going to use sort of these bolts to sort of like gator them in on top of the actual pipe, you might lose these. So whenever you buy these, they do recommend them to actually get them welded. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to retain these, but I'm also going to put sort of like a bead here and a bead here, and tack them on, so I will never lose them for additional strength. So if you guys do end up buying these tips, which I think you should, either get them professionally welded at an exhaust shop. I do most of the work myself. I usually don't go to exhaust shops unless it's like a huge, muffler, because I don't have a muffler bender yet. I do want to get a pipe bender soon, and I do want to get a pipe expander as well, which I'm going to do a vlog about. So stay tuned on that. I want to get one later in the year, and then I'll be able to sort of do my own exhaust work, on the Civic or for my buddies or anything like that, just for shits and giggles. I do want to have the skills to do it. So that's coming up. But in the meantime, I think this is a really cool mod actually for what I pay for it. And it changes the look of the exhaust. And I mean, this looks phenomenal compared to the OEM. It's a bigger tip. It's not really expensive. But I think the key with this one is if you guys are going to buy these, get them welded. Don't just rely on these bolts, because these do have a tendency to slip out. And I think it kind of makes sense, because if you guys look, there's little gator teeth over there that sort of like gator in onto your exhaust. But I don't think that's enough to hold it in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack it. I'm going to tack them in. One here, and one here. And I think this is just going to be enough so it doesn't slip on. Plus with the additional grip of the gator teeth that are on there, it should be a good trick. But score, it's a nice quick little mod. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do it in just a minute. Sorry, so maybe I'll focus a little bit more on the gator teeth. So the idea here is that if you put an exhaust pipe, or you have an exhaust pipe, so maybe it's a good opportunity for me to sort of talk about how these, bolted on mufflers tips work. So as you basically tighten this up, it sort of grips on this and it pulls it away. And that's how you're able to sort of adjust it and put it over, right? But I don't think these teeth are sufficient enough to sort of grip hard enough. Because I could see that they could slip. It could literally slip off of your exhaust pipe. You know what I mean? So I think getting it actually welded is probably a good idea. Or what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the gator teeth to sort of hold it and retain it on the pipe. And I'm just going to put some tacks over here to do it. But I want to kind of show you guys a close-up principle behind it. It's pretty simple. So the whole idea is to slip it over your exhaust pipe. I mean, you might lose it or you might not lose it. You know what I mean? But just to be safe, slip it over the exhaust pipe and tighten these up, and you should be good to go. But I'd recommend probably taking them to an exhaust shop. And when I was buying this at a Pacific Mall, the lady's like, yeah, I think you better weld it, because I think they want to tell you that to be safe and sorry as well. So, but it's definitely a nice alternative. It's a quick and easy mod to make your exhaust tips a lot nicer. You know what I mean? And you could kind of make it work, make it, be do-it-yourselfer. I mean, another idea that you guys could do when you do buy these is basically, because there's already holes here, have a bolt that protrudes all the way through here and it protrudes all the way through here, and have a nut and bolt and have it actually go right through your exhaust, and that way you'll for sure never lose it. But I think just using this and doing a couple tacks should be enough for me. This is what I mean. If you guys put a long bolt through, nut and bolt, then it'll actually literally go through the pipe. You won't lose it if you guys want to use that as an alternative. I mean, the cleanest way to do it would most likely be to get, a 3-inch sort of a reducer that goes through here on top, and then just weld around it nicely, and then go into 2.5 and then weld onto a 2.5, or expand it from 2.5 so it goes a little bit slightly higher. They can slip on it and then do a weld. That would be the cleanest way. But if you guys just want to sort of go on a budget, this is an alternative. So I'll show you guys the result and how mine's going to look like in just a minute. The whole idea behind these is very simple. As you tighten these up, the little gator teeth or grips basically latch onto the pipe. But I could see how some people have complained through the internet that these have slipped on, because at the end of the day, it's a smooth surface of the muffler, right? So any heavy back pressure or acceleration could literally slip these off, because I don't think these gator teeth are enough to hold it. You know what I mean? Unless you create some kind of a notch in there where you actually notch it through, and this sits inside of the notch, it prevents it from slipping. In my case, it won't be a big issue, because I said I'm going to put a tack through here and on the edges. So that way the actual tack or the welds are going to hold these on. But I mean, for a really, really cheap mod, if you guys can figure out a way to sort of retain them, and even, some people have had some success where these would not slip on. It's a great alternative. You know what I mean? It's a great alternative, and I love the look. especially because I love the burn tip. So I think this is a success. And time will tell how these end up doing. But just for the look, I think it's a 10 out of 10. Leave comments below. Let you guys know if your experiences with these kinds of tips. And I can't wait to sort of take a nice day picture of these and share with you. But I'll keep you updated on how these work out. But definitely a really cool mod for what the total cost. Sawzall, I already have that with a blade to cut them off. Tips themselves $100. Not bad, $100 mod. And there you go. Hope this helps. And I hope you guys enjoy because I really love these tips. Peace out.